nations that would tell you right now they were probably going to war. I could tell you right now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard of. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped. But this should have never happened.
Sorry, just a second. About any negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I think that everybody understands that Ukraine, more than Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop this war. But in the future, any negotiations, it's understandable that two sides of the war, not Russia and the United States, because this is not the war between Russia and the United States. This is war of Russia against Ukraine and Ukrainian people. So these two sides will be at anyway will be at the negotiation table. Then of course United States, like the strongest partner of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with the president. Yes, Europe is very important for us because we really defend Europe for today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending life and they have real life. And our people are dying. That's why they helped us. And also, it's about the NATO. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes, between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way. But first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them because they've been in the USSR. You know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to bring them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there, if you will not stay, you will fight your American soldiers. It doesn't matter do you have ocean or not. Your soldiers will fight. It was my question.
I don't want to talk about this. Let's not talk about this. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We have to talk about Odessa. But a lot of cities have been destroyed. A lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing. And a lot of protests.
You have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things been destroyed, but mostly cities alive, and people work, and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools or online. But we live. Ukraine is fighting, and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin sharing this information that he destroyed us. Well, he lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers he lost everything. Yes.
Mr. President, a
couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good. And I've known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal, and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on its behalf. How can you be a reliable trustworthy partner in these systems that are quantumly false on social media?
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday. We thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. And so was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something?
particularly if it impacts America.
精蟲啊，竟然啊，用緊個 sperm，我拿這是 fuck brain 呢，前面不可以蹲了，一定要來到這邊做 U turn。
It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Fourth Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick called it up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the President's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country and we'll fight for it for American citizens. thanking the president for wanting to bring an end to this
Have you ever
conflict.
been to Ukraine that you save what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
Yeah,
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your
A
country?
lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice hopes and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know that.
bless. You will not
You
have
gotta-
war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in
answering
no
all
position to
these questions.
dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
No
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
You will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and it
of the
happens to be
war.
right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not in a
Mr.
good
Brown,
position.
I was-
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
I'm not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't
I'm
have
very
you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
of
of
the world.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you.
you.
Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I know.
winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
We are
coming out
staying-
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
not
haven't been
only in
alone.
this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment.
You
And your
voted
men
for
are brave, but they have used our military
One more
equipment.
question.
If you didn't have
We
our
invite-
military equipment,
We invite the
if you didn't
minister-
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
And just say thank you.
I said a lot of times,
Accept
to American people.
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the political media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on. I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. People are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you'd take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But I'm saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people, ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That wasn't with me.
It
That was with
wasn't with
a
you.
guy named Biden that was not a smart person.
This
That was
is your,
that was with
your president.
Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama who gave you sheets and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful. Because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards. It's going to be a tough deal to make. Because the attitudes have to change. What are you saying?
She's asking what approach brings the ceasefire.
What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him in Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush. He might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe he did. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if he can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered him to be a tough guy. And I don't think he'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. You're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty. You'll find it out. If you don't have the cards, once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen it enough. What do you think? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do now. We'll see. I don't
We are covering what are the Trump tariffs, what are tariffs tariffs inflationary, and will the Trump tariffs actually pass? First, I want to show you some video clips of Trump's. If you didn't know, Trump is a huge fan of tariffs. So I want to show you these clips so that we're on the same page.
But to me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff. And it's my favorite word. But it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary, tariff. It will save our country. Only stupid people don't want to use it, or corrupt people also.
Okay, so it's clear, it's no secret that Trump is a big fan of tariffs. And Trump has floated the idea of imposing a 10% tariff on all foreign imports. So I want to show you.
Well, let me ask you what you're thinking here. Would you want tariffs on foreign goods coming into the U.S., take those revenues and cut taxes on American goods and American families here? Would that be something in a second Trump term?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. Number one, I think we should have a ring around the collar, as they say. I think when companies come in and they dump their products in the United States, they should pay automatically, let's say, a 10% tax. That money would be used to pay off debt. It's a massive amount of money, even a 10%. It's not going to stop business because it's not that much, but it's enough that would really make a lot of money.
Okay, now let me explain to you what a tariff is. So I'm going to give you the definition and then I'm going to break it down for you with an example. A tariff is a tax that is imposed on goods imported from another country. So let's use Toyota cars as an example. So let's say that a Toyota Camry costs $30,000 and it's made outside of America. If there's a 10% import tariff, then there's a $3,000 tax if you want to bring the Toyota Camry into the US to sell it. So the purpose of a tariff is to make foreign products more expensive. If foreign products are more expensive, then the idea is that US consumers will be more likely to buy products that are made in America, because American products would be cheaper because they wouldn't be subject to the tax. It also incentivizes foreign companies to invest in America to make their products in America. So this includes building infrastructure in America and creating jobs in America. So let me show you this video clip. This is of Charlie Kirk to help explain the positive impact of a tariff.
Here's how it really works. Let's just take, and we've done this in the past, let's take a company like Toyota. So Toyota is a Japanese car manufacturer, right? And Lyndon Baines Johnson back in the 1960s said, we're going to do 25% tariff on all pickup trucks. Now, how do you avoid a tariff? It's not a trick question. You avoid a tariff by making the product in America. No tariff. So Toyota, what they do to get around the pickup truck tariff, which by the way, they're huge. You guys have seen Toyota pickup trucks. They're everywhere. They make all their pickup trucks in America. So what it is, it's a forcing function to re-domicile labor back to the United States, not necessarily to just slap a tariff on top of goods coming in.
So there you have it. The people that support tariffs will say, you impose a tariff to promote domestic production. It will create jobs in America and boost the economy, and the U.S. government will collect more tax revenue. So those are the theoretical benefits. However, there is a cost, and that cost is inflation. So the right question to ask is, do the pros outweigh the cons? Now, let's talk about the cost, and let's not make this complicated. It's actually very straightforward. So let's start with this. Do you know what a competitive advantage is? A competitive advantage is a quality or a factor that gives you an edge over your competitors. So let me demonstrate with an easy example. So let me ask you, is it more cost effective to generate solar energy in California or in Illinois? So it's not a trick question, just use common sense. The correct answer is California. You know why? It's because California receives more direct sunlight and has less cloud cover compared to Illinois. So it doesn't take a